evening, everybody. Welcome to Sunday night live. Sorry about last weekend and missing the live last weekend. I was a little bit under the weather, so Jan kindly rescheduled till this weekend.
Yeah, let's see if you guys are actually able to hear us now. I know that I have people here with us, but sometimes we have a delay as we speak and also when the message they started to show up. But yeah, you see the new layout.
Somebody decided to chop their hair off.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
He's going with the easy maintenance look these days. Giving it a try.
Yeah, which is quite interesting. The fact that sometimes you go to different barbers and the way that they, cut your hair is different. And then I thought, I'm kind of getting tired of this stuff. And then I decided to use what we used to do before with my buzzer. So Christine is my official barber
That's
now.
right. We're back to COVID times here.
I know. Hey, Dan, how are you? Hey, Carlos, sound is good? That is good. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're so happy to have you guys with us now. How's the weather, guys, where you are?
Hopefully it's good. It's pretty. So Jean and I have switched locations. We arrived yesterday in Colonia, Uruguay. So super fun little town that we haven't been able to explore it yet because it's pouring rain today.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed tomorrow we're going to be able to get out and take a little look around because it looks like a really nice place.
It is. It's a good place. That's a big of an adventure of what happened. We will fill you guys in and what happened, but it was quite interesting. New York is cold. Yeah, I'm sorry, Carlos.
Spring is coming.
Yeah, it's just around the corner. We were talking with family and friends in Toronto, and you were saying that the weather hasn't been the greatest, and it was good time for us to basically not having to deal with weather this year. So
yeah, it's been pretty snowy back home, but we've had actually, so we were talking about this, but we just left Cordoba, Argentina to come to Colonia, Uruguay. And the last 3 days in Cordoba and then today in Uruguay, it's rained so much. And Jean and I were asking each other, when was the last time we had so much rain? And I don't know. I think maybe maybe the Camino, we had a few days back to back of rain there, but other than that, we've been pretty blessed with weather, so we can't really complain.
No, not really.
We hope spring comes quickly, guys, and the weather turns around. So
yeah, it's raining in North California. Oh yes, but I believe that it's good that it's raining now, right? Then so good for you guys. But hey Julie, how are you? It's nice to see you.
All right. Well, I don't know what you guys want, but Jean and I, we kind of want to put a little bit of structure to these lives just to kind of give you guys a little bit of, we want to pass on some of the things that we're learning and some of the things we know because we really want to help you guys achieve some of this stuff as well. So we thought maybe what we would do, we did it sort of the last live that we did. We kind of spent the first little bit going over some of the things that we thought maybe you guys might find interesting or useful, and then left it open to questions at the end for you guys. And we thought we would do that again tonight, continuing with the points and miles theme and kind of how we're utilizing those to be able to offset the costs for us as we travel.
Yeah, and you might have seen on our thumbnail that you're able to have like 93% savings on our trips for this year, right? So it's good. So all of the flights, then basically the flights that we had, they were all booked. And here comes the unexpected things that happened over the last time that we're gonna fill you guys in. But basically all the flights that we've had, they were booked. And yes, we were able to save 93% of it. And as Christine said before, nothing better than share what we know and see that is actually possible. This is the reason that we just say points and miles as an income stream. It's because they do save us money, and we want to share with you as well.
Yeah.
So I am gonna try something here, which is gonna be sharing my screen with you. So let me know if you can see it. Just 1 second. Keep talking as I try, Amor.
Well, so first of all, let us know if you can see the presentation. But second of all, if you can still hear us, because we tried to do a little mini presentation on our live with our Journey to Freedom folks a couple weeks ago. And we put the presentation up, but then apparently our audio cut completely out. So if you can not only see the screen, but also hear us talking, just let us know really quick so that we know we've kind of fixed what was the issue previously. And hopefully this is going to work well.
Yeah, and we know that you might have some time after that, so we want to go through what we have planned for today. And as always, you can ask us any questions. We're more than happy to share the answers with you. Some of them we might not know, but hopefully we will be able to see. Right? So here's what we want to cover to you today. Why we see points and miles as a source of income, and also some of the advantages for retirees or new retirees, why we think it is important, how to get started with that, the breakdown of our travel costs for 2025, and some Q&A. Hey, Erica, hey. That's perfect. It's nice that you guys can see it.
Yeah.
So let's go through what we think is important, here. Right?
Yeah, so I mean, as you all know, travel can be quite expensive, and flying all of these different places really does add up. But that's where Jean and I we foresaw what we wanted to do in retirement. We knew we wanted to be traveling, and we knew that it was going to be a big cost. So we kind of sat down and we said, well, how are we going to be able to afford doing this? And that's where sort of Jean's interest got piqued with the points and miles, because really prior to 2020, 2021, we hadn't really been as focused as we could have or should have been on the points and miles. And they call it a game, but for us, it's really the points and miles income stream. We were fully focused on trying to reach financial independence and learning all about investing in stocks and ETFs and which accounts to invest in and all this sort of stuff. But we hadn't started yet to focus on points and miles. And as soon as we did, we realized that they really do have a lot of power to them, because they can save you a ton of money. As you guys are going to see at the end of this, they really can save you a lot of money. And these are points and miles that we just accumulated through our regular spending. So it was nothing crazy that we went out and spent a ton of extra money that we didn't need to spend in order to accumulate these miles. They were all earned through spending. Yeah. And just the beauty of it is it saves you that extra outflow of capital for paying for travel. And that lets your investments keep growing, right? If you can keep that money inside of your accounts and compounding longer, even better, right? And then you can offset all of those costs with points and miles.
Yeah, and of course, we wanted to save money, but at the same time, we love traveling. So we knew that we want to travel all over the world. And if you were to include, in our budget, the cost of those flights, if you were to include, especially like those long ones where, it's like 10, 12 hours and a flight that is going to take us, well, first of all, a lot of time to get there, but not even that. It's also the fact that the amount that we have to spend, it will be quite enormous, right?
And just to that point too, and I think that after Jean and I flew to Brazil together the first time back in 2019.
Yeah.
It was a 10-hour flight. I was in economy. Jean was in premium economy, and I was utterly miserable. I'm 6 foot, so I'm not a short person, but I have very long legs. And literally, whenever I sit in economy, my knees are right at the back of the seat in front of me, right on the seat pocket. So there's that little metal strip, and it digs right into my knees. And then, of course, if somebody puts a seat back, it becomes that much worse. So we sort of sat down after that trip and said, okay, anything moving forward over 8 hours in length, we are going to do everything in our power
Yeah.
to use points and miles and fly business. And that's kind of where the beauty of this income stream really does come in. When you're flying longer haul flights, you're able
Mhm.
to do a much more comfortable experience.
Yes, and it's not that long, right? When we started doing those things, it didn't. Was it like 2 or 3 years that we were kind of taking advantage
Mhm.
more and more
Yeah.
of these trips, right? But why do you see that? If you are able to accumulate those points and miles, this is actually an advantage for us. First of all, at our age, within 40 to 50, 60 years old, this is when we are kind of getting a lot of spending power. You gotta go and you gotta do grocery. You gotta go and you gotta pay for insurance. There are so many things that you have to pay in our regular day to day. So that's the time that we have more an opportunity of using that spending amount that we have towards something that is gonna give us something back.
Yeah, I mean, they always say when we talk about financial independence, like as you get older, you're in your highest income earning years. Well, those are also your higher spending power years. Generally, you've got your house, right? So all the maintenance that comes with a house, maybe you have a rental property or a side hustle, things like this. These are all ways that you can optimize your spending, right, as we get older. So
Yes, not even when you are. Yeah, that's a great point. Then. Yeah,
just more space, right? It just makes things so much more comfortable.
Yes, at the same time, when you are near retirement, or if you are actually retired, you have a flexible schedule, meaning that, you know what, if tomorrow we want to go somewhere because we just see a deal that we can use the points and miles, we can fly tomorrow. It's not going to be a problem at all. Maybe on my case, I decided to do all the booking for 2025 is just because I'm a planner, and then you have to stick with those flights. But even though we would be able to find these deals maybe showing up tomorrow just because we have more flexibility.
Yeah, I mean, as you get older, generally you're accumulating more and more vacation time, or if you're already retired, you can leave and go most of the time whenever you want, right? So flexibility really does come into play, finding some of the better points redemptions, right? As well as, like Jean said, his strategic planning. So we're all, I think, in this community, A-type personalities. Like we were talking about before, we've really got that financial aspect of our lives starting to dial that in. We're planning for our future. We can see what we want. And so utilizing the planning skills that we've learned from financial independence and growing our investments translates beautifully over into strategic planning for your points and miles and the best use of them.
Yeah. And by the way, this picture that I found online, this is the airport that you're going to be visiting by the end of this year. Do you know where this is from? The image of this airport?
No, I have no idea.
No? Does anyone know where where is this airport? Do you guys have any idea? Is it in North America, South America, Asia, Europe? Do you guys know where it is?
Oh my goodness, I have no clue.
No? Well, in the meantime, I'm gonna have
we are going to a few places later this year, so we'll see. It could be Athens, Istanbul.
No.
Oh, Thailand. Maybe Bangkok. Oh, it's gonna be Bangkok, guys. All right. Well, we'll show you a picture when we actually make it there.
Yeah, you were right. It's actually Bangkok. So that's the airport in Bangkok that you're going to be arriving at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, amazing. So let's keep moving and let's keep going. No, JP.
Dubai.
No, it's actually in Thailand.
But Dubai. Super excited.
Yes, that's Dubai. Zaku. Yeah, you are correct. It's in Thailand. Yeah. Bangkok.
Maybe.
Alrighty. So what we do when we talk about credit cards, basically we kind of see 3 steps. The first one, you get a credit card. The second one, you earn through that credit card, and all the points and miles that you end up accumulating, you have to earn. And this is something that we need to kind of take into consideration, which is not something that, I'm going to get those points now and I'll wait 10, 15 years to start using those points. You got to earn those points and you got to redeem those points.
Right. So the key really is you want to focus on one card at a time, I think is the
Yeah.
best way to look at this. So, for example, say you wanted to focus on the Chase Sapphire Reserve card because it had a 60,000 point sign up bonus and you needed to spend $3,000 in the first 3 months. So, you want to focus on that card and that card alone, put all of your spending on that card because the sign up bonus is really where you're going to get the most return for your spend. It does have multiplier categories, and if at all possible, you want to prioritize spending in those categories on that card. But really, the sign up bonus is the goal. You want to make sure you meet that minimum spend, achieve the sign up bonus, right? That's where the earn comes in, and then focus on how you're going to redeem them after the fact. And it's a cycle that just keeps going, right? As soon as you earn the sign up bonus on one card, you then move to the next card and the next, right?
Yeah. There's a question from La.
Do you prioritize hotel credit cards? If yes, do each of you have it? Sample, each of you have a Hyatt card or not? So we do prioritize hotel cards, and we really do want to get into that as well. We have, and generally I'm the one with the hotel cards.
Yeah.
It seems to be. Oh, we both have the IHG
We
card.
do have the IHG cards. I guess it depends on the credit cards, what we are trying to do for this year, since you're going to be traveling for, throughout the year, how many days this year that you're going to be in hotels? I'm going to say at least 250 to 300 days, more or less.
No, maybe not quite. Well, no, because we're in Canada for 2 months.
Yeah.
Maybe around 200 days in hotels. I think hotel credit cards are great. I think depending on how much you travel would determine how many of these cards you get. Because if you're not going to be traveling for a ton of time, maybe pick one program and focus on that particular program. In our case, we're trying to utilize, well, we had a bunch of Marriott points that we're trying to use up this year because good old Marriott keeps changing their program. But we're also really heavily focusing on IHG, Hyatt, and Wyndham, to be completely honest. Many of you, if you'd seen our December budget, know that we actually purchase IHG points and we purchase Wyndham points. That's a whole other video. We're going to get into that. But we do prioritize hotel credit cards because they do bring a lot of value to your stay once you kind of reach certain minimum night requirements.
And maybe just another point to take into consideration is depending on the credit card that you get, you end up receiving a free night that you can use. And I'm going to give you an example of Marriott. The fact that we keep changing, and sometimes the airlines, they change your flight and you have to stay one extra day. You have to kind of go back and wait until you have your next flight. This is a perfect example of it is going to happen to us when we are leaving Argentina and going back to Brazil, right? We are in Uruguay now, but our flight going back to actually Mexico, it departs from Argentina. So we end up having to find one extra day in Argentina. And the Marriott credit card that we've had, a night in a hotel in Argentina was $240. What have we done? We used the free night certificate from Marriott and we didn't have to pay anything. So if nothing, if it was not the case, we would have to pay out of our pocket $250 just to stay one extra night. By using the credit card, we don't have to pay anything.
I mean, we have the annual fee, but at the end of the day, the annual fee is less than that one night would cost anyways. So if even the hotel credit cards, if you look at those as just you're prepaying for one night at a hotel, you're already ahead, plus whatever you would accumulate on that card towards more point redemption nights and stuff like that. Whole other video, but we do like hotel credit cards.
Yes, we do like hotel cards. And Nicola, to answer your question, I have both of them, Canada and US credit cards.
Yeah, we do. I guess we're a bit of a lucky situation there because Canadians often feel that there isn't, we don't have as many options as the US, and that is very true. However, Canadians are quite lucky in some of the options that we do have, and we'll get into that as well in a future video. But unlike some of the US credit cards, Canadians are able to sign up over and over and earn those sign up bonuses over and over, unlike some of the American cards where you earn it once and that's it, right?
Yeah. The best scenario would definitely be kind of having the credit card, but if it is not the case, you can buy points. And this is something that we take in our advantage as well, which is, I'm not able to get the credit card. And it does take a while until if you decide to get credit cards in the US as a Canadian. But once you have the credit card, I mean, you can use it. If not, here comes points, buying points to your advantage.
A whole other video.
Yeah. But let's go back to our point. So we get the credit card, we earn credit card, and then we end up, using those points. This is an example, Erica, you were talking about a few minutes ago from the Chase credit card. And this is one of the credit cards that we actually started using.
Yeah.
The Chase Sapphire Preferred. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, it's a really great card. Generally, the Chase, quite often, the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Reserve card both have the same sign-up bonus. So you're really not gaining anything more by signing up for the more expensive card. If you travel a lot, perhaps look at the Reserve. But for everyday use and general purpose, the Chase Sapphire Preferred is a great card. And what happens, like Eric said, she's going to open a new card to pay for her taxes because say your sign-up bonus is 60,000 points if you spend 3,000 in the first 3 months. Well, I don't know about many of you, but previously my tax bill could reach around $3,000 or more that we owed the government. So with one credit card and one payment of your tax bill, you've already earned your sign-up bonus for that card. Maybe it could be split over 2 cards depending on how much you have to spend, right?
Yeah.
So this particular card is good because, as you can see, there's different reward bonus categories that it has up there under point number 2. So if you can spend that $3,000 on any of these multiplier categories, you're actually going to earn far more than the 60,000 points. If you were able to book your $3,000 worth of travel through the Chase travel portal, for example, right, you're going to earn 5x on that 3,000. So you'll earn 15,000 additional points on top of your 60, right? So that's just some idea of what you potentially could earn using these particular cards.
Yeah, and that's the strategy that we have in place, which is we decided to get a new credit card. In this example, that's what we did with the Chase Sapphire Preferred. We got the credit cards because at that time we knew that we would be traveling and walking the Camino de Santiago, and we knew that travel, as you can see, you have 2 times points per dollar for travel. But for dining, it's actually 3 times the points. And then we can use those points from Chase for either accommodation, for transportation, or cashback, not only with Chase, but with any other credit card available there.
And we're going to put a huge caveat out here right now. And if you're looking to accumulate points and miles for travel, please very rarely use cashback because that's not going to be your best redemption of your points. Try to focus on accommodation and transportation first.
Yes, and on Chase's example, as long as you have the points, like what we call here the ultimate rewards points, for the 60,000 points that you receive after spending the minimum amount, you can transfer those points to hotels like Hyatt, Marriott, IHG. You can also transfer those points to airlines as Air Canada, Air France, British Airways, JetBlue, and so on and so forth. This is not the list, the complete list, but it's just to give you guys an idea of what you can do, right?
Yeah. So there's so many options out there. And this is, if you guys think back to the last time we had the live, we talked about a transferable currency. This is one of those transferable currencies for this exact point, right? You're earning a currency of ultimate rewards, but that currency can then be used to buy flights, hotels at all of these partner programs, right? You just transfer your points from Chase Ultimate Rewards to these programs and then use the points from that program to book whatever you're looking for.
And that's when we say that you gotta be strategic about that, because if I know that on travel I'm gonna get 2 times the points, and if I know for dining I'm gonna get 3 times the points, guess what happens? Every single time that we go out for dining in a restaurant or having a breakfast, whatever the case is, I already know which credit card I'm gonna use.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use the Sapphire Preferred because I know it's
3x.
3x's. So let's see an example. Julie, I will go back to your question in just 1 second, okay? So as you guys could see here, you can see two different examples, thank you, of what we had to, let me just maximize and it'll be easier for me to read.
Yeah.
It's just two examples of what we used with the Chase Sapphire Preferred last year. You can see that in May the 5th, 2024, we were already doing we were actually not flying.
No, we were getting off the ship.
Yeah, we were getting off the ship, and you can see like the oasis of the seas. That's, of course, the
cruise ship.
The cruise ship that we were in, and the category from Chase is travel. The amount that we spent that day $99.01. But see how many ultimate rewards points we've got. We got 198 points, right? On your right, you can see another example of, this is my massage that I was actually in Toronto. I spent $89, and the category you can see is different. It's health and wellness, and see how many points I've got. I only got 89 points. Why? Because it's 1 point per every single dollar.
Yeah, normally we wouldn't have put that massage on this card, but at this point in time, we were actually working towards the sign-up bonus.
Yeah.
So that's where we said everything went on the card, regardless of the category,
yeah.
Right? But yeah.
All they wanted to do is get the 60,000 points, and that's what we did. Every single transaction that we could do, we would be doing this with the credit card.
Yeah.
So let's just go back to Julie's question here. I thought the IHG credit card was not available to Canadians.
It's available. You have to meet certain criteria as a Canadian in order to be eligible for U.S. credit cards. Jean and I reached that criteria, so we've been able to apply for U.S. credit cards. If you're interested, send us an email and we'll chat about that as well.
Yeah. And it's not only Canadians, it's anyone, anywhere around the world, as long as they fit the criteria in the United States, you can apply for the card, granted that you have what they are looking for.
Yeah.
Right?
Very simple.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of a process. You have to get some paperwork in order to be able to do it, but you can certainly apply and obtain the cards.
Yes.
Next slide.
Yeah.
Aha. So this is the big one. This is where on the thumbnail we said we saved 93% on our travel for 2025. JP, it's definitely Jean who is the PowerPoint master. You wouldn't want to see the PowerPoint I put together.
Yeah.
Probably have happy faces and exclamation marks everywhere.
When Christine, she creates those PowerPoints, and I said, okay, and do you want my opinion? And she says, no, and okay, I'm not gonna do anything. But sometimes I try to build those presentations before her.
This is what he used to do. He used to put together training, right? So this is a quick slide. We've got a more detailed breakdown after for you guys, but just really quick, that 93% savings is because if you took the cash value of all of the flights that we booked for 2025, it would have come out to $21,398. We only spent $1,409 on these flights. And that money is because even though you use points and miles, you still need to pay the taxes and fees on these flights. So it's not completely free. You're still going to be out of pocket. However, as you can see, we saved almost $20,000 simply by using points and miles to book our flights.
Yeah. And the flights, I think that you're going to see on the next screen, like the breakdown of all of the flights that we have booked for this year.
Yeah.
And
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. So what you can see on this screen, those are the flights that we are gonna take this year, and of course, some of them we already did. So at the beginning of 2025, we flew from Fortaleza. That's where we were at the beginning of 2025 to Buenos Aires. The cost of this ticket, by the way, is for both of
Yeah.
us, right?
These
for
are
Christine
two
and I.
tickets.
Yeah. It was $551, and all those numbers are
US.
US. So in fees, we end up paying $321, and we had to use 25,000 points
For two tickets.
for two tickets. Yeah, so we end up paying 321.
All of these flights were booked with points. So the cash value that you see under the ticket price, it's just there to show you how much if we paid out of pocket, that's what we would have paid, right?
Yeah. When we go back to, actually, that's what we were saying. In March of 2025, we are going to fly from Buenos Aires to Mexico City. The cost of this ticket, $1,900, and the fee is $273. What we end up paying, 60,000 points, and we paid $273, which were actually the fees.
Yeah.
And the same one, sorry, go ahead.
No, and I was just going to say, this is the next one shows you the beauty programs. A lot of these programs have what they call free stopovers. And that's what Jean and I have utilized in this case. So this flight with LATAM that you see that we booked from Buenos Aires to Mexico City, it was booked using Alaska Miles. And Alaska allows a free stopover for up to
90 days.
90 days, I think. So you can literally on one ticket visit 2 or more countries, right? If you just do what we did here. So what we did is we took an extended layover on that flight in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So the flight actually goes Buenos Aires, Sao Paulo, Mexico City. So once that flight lands in Sao Paulo, we extended it for 2 weeks. And during that time, we're taking the third flight on this list, the Azul Airlines flight that leaves from Sao Paulo, goes to Fortaleza, and then back to Sao Paulo. Would have cost $580. We only paid $29 in taxes and fees and 72,000 Azul miles, right?
Yeah.
72,000 Azul miles. So it not only do points and miles save you money, but they can actually extend your opportunities for visiting places, because quite a few of these airline programs have these stopover programs built into them as well. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
The next one is Air Canada. We booked this one on Aeroplan, and same thing. It was going to be $542 for the both of us to fly back to Canada, but we decided to use points and miles, and it only cost us $147 and 27,000 points. The next two are the biggest money savers. So if you look at those previous 4, granted, it would have been money out of our pocket, but it really wouldn't have blown the bank. All of those are in economy flights.
Yeah.
So none of those are business. The last 2 on this list, however, are business. And that's where the biggest ticket items are going to show up. And the first one being the flight that we're going to take from Toronto to Athens. It's on Swiss Air business class. The ticket price, ridiculous, for 2 people to fly this flight would have been almost $13,000. Who in their right mind is going to pay that kind of money? But it's a long flight. We knew we wanted to be comfortable, so we decided to use 140,000 points. We booked this through Aeroplan as well.
We
right?
did, yeah.
And it cost us just $200 in taxes and fees. So $200 versus $13,000, that's a pretty good cost savings in my book.
Yeah. And the same way with the other flight from Qatar Airways, right? So we are going to fly from Istanbul to Bangkok, and it's the same thing. It is going to cost initially $4,700. With the fees $445, we decided to use our points, 140,000 points, and we paid the $445.
Yeah.
You guys might see, well, you are actually in August, you are arriving in Athens, but in October you are actually departing from Istanbul. How this is actually possible? It goes back to the flexibility that we have in our mind. So we decided to go and visit Greece and go through the islands and hop on some of those islands and make our way through Istanbul. So that's why we decided to do this. By the way, those
plans have changed.
plans have changed. We are gonna fill you
Flights haven't
guys
changed,
in
but the plans
after
have
that.
changed.
Yeah, the flights, they do not change, but yeah, we will
So.
do this, right?
Yeah, so I mean, that's where you can kind of start to see the real power of these different programs, right? I don't know anybody, none of our family and friends can afford $21,000 to make these flights a reality. And that's where the points and miles sort of really do kick in. And the beauty part of this is if you have two people in your household, you can sort of double up on that. And this is what Jean and I did, right? So we would get say the Chase Sapphire in Jean's name, get the sign up bonus for that. He refers me, then we do the next sign up bonus, that kind of thing. So you're always going to be earning a sign up bonus, and that's where you're going to start to accumulate all of these points and miles to be able to make this a reality.
Yeah, and we can only do this honestly because we have been blessed in being able to accumulate points and miles. Never in our lives we will be able to spend almost $13,000 to fly in business class. If this is actually the price, I don't know you guys, but for us, it'll be like a big no, just because of the budget that we have in place.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And like we said, we started, and that's where we think this is really important for all of you guys. We started to accumulate these points prior to retiring. Not that we can't do it now. We're still earning sign-up bonuses, and we're still, if you watched our January budget breakdown, we actually earned around 20,000 points just on our regular spend for the month of January. So even when you do retire, even if you are on a fixed sort of budget, it's still possible. You might have to dial back some of your travel, but you can still totally offset the travel with your costs. But pre-retirement is really when you want to focus on trying to capitalize on all of your spending that you do have.
Yeah. There's a question here from Eric on how to extend the layover. It depends on each program. It depends on each airline. On this case, as you are flying Buenos Aires to Mexico City, we did use Alaska. And within Alaska, there's a way that you can basically say, instead of saying what is the start and the end, you basically, I knew that with Alaska, I was going to be in Sao Paulo. So I was basically looking for flights from Buenos Aires to Sao Paulo and from Sao Paulo to Mexico City. There are a few tools available out there that we can kind of decide, we can kind of identify which airlines are part of Alaska, but that's not only with Alaska. The same way that we're flying Swiss, we use it aeroplane points, right? So it does depend, but going through Alaska, you basically pick the dates. I knew that we are going to leave at the end of March, going to Brazil, and after that, continuing our flight 2 or 3 weeks. So you basically
use the multi-city tool, right?
Use the multi-city tool to decide
how long you want that layover to be.
You're gonna be that layover.
Yeah.
And Carlos, so your question is, yes, Alaska, they have a partnership with LATAM.
So that's where I think maybe we haven't done that yet. I think maybe with you guys we'll put that out in the next one, talking about different programs and different alliances, right? So there's 3 major airline alliances and there's Star Alliance, One World, and what's the other one? SkyTeam. Star Alliance is by far the largest alliance, and then within that, you're going to have multiple airlines. So quite often, take Air Canada Aeroplan, for example. You go into their program to book. Just because you're booking through Air Canada's Aeroplan program doesn't mean you're flying on Air Canada planes. You could be booking Turkish Airlines. You could be booking United or any number of different partner airlines through that particular points program, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So there's a lot of different things, but the biggest thing to start is to start accumulating the points and miles, and that's where the transferable points and miles are really important, because those are the ones that you can say, I want to put those into Aeroplan or British Avios, things like that.
Yeah, and Also, what is important is depending on the credit card that you get
Mhm.
those sign up bonuses, a point like a Chase point is different from an IHG point,
Mhm.
that is different from a Capital One point. At the end of the day, they are points, but just the value that they have, they kind of differ,
Could be
right?
varied, yeah.
Yeah. This, and by the way, our members, if any of our members in our community are here, we already created a spreadsheet where you can identify what are some of those points, if it is actually worth it or not to use points. The spreadsheet is already available, and for you guys, and this is our way of saying thank you very much. You can see a QR code on your screen. If you do click on this QR code, you are going to be redirected to our website where you can enter your information. You can download the spreadsheet as well, which is basically how we calculate if it is actually worth it or not for you to use points. And again, it does take a while until we learn all of those things. You might be inundated, or you might be thinking, oh, I don't know why this is possible, doesn't make sense, or it does not make any sense at all. It takes a while, but usually on this world of points and miles, if you are able to, let's say, save at least 2 cents per point, you are, taking a good, let's say you are taking a good redemption. Of course, if you
Yeah.
have more, it's actually better, right?
Yeah. If it's a 2 cent or higher redemption.
Yes, higher redemption.
That's something, okay, that might be the next live stream, how to calculate your cent per point and to see whether, because maybe the reward redemption isn't always the best. Maybe you can pay cash for a flight for almost what it would be worth with points and miles. In that case, you may want to consider saving your points and miles, paying cash, using a credit card that earns you 3x on travel, getting some extra points, and then accumulating a bigger bunch of points to spend on Qatar Q suites or something a little bit more out of our everyday norm.
Yes, that's true.
Right? So
yeah, and
next one.
Yeah, and you might be asking, okay, which credit cards you guys have it? In our website, we do have a list, and we also linked up here on our screen a QR code there where you can see the list of credit cards. And if you guys are willing to, if you want to use our referral links, that will be great. And this is something that we always do, right? Which is initially when you get the credit card, we end up getting a referral of someone else. But if it's time for Christine, for her to sign up for a credit card, that's what we call, she is my P2 or I am her P2. We end up referring each other, and as a result, we get extra points.
Yeah, and I think this is where if you have multiple people that even your circle of friends, right? If you guys can start kind of thinking about this together as well, if you want to refer one of your friends to the card, right? You get a little bit of a kickback as a referral bonus, and they potentially, sometimes, not always, sometimes the sign-up bonus is a little bit better too, right? This can be done within your family, maybe your brothers or your parents or your children if they're just starting to build up their credit history and stuff like that, right? There's ways in order to accumulate these points and miles, right? It's just a matter of starting to figure out the base and the fundamentals.
And then, and by the way, none of this stuff is actually legal. Everything, of course, that we do is legal, and it is something that you can do. There's nothing saying that you cannot refer someone from your family. At the end of the day, the banks, they want to have more business, and what it's important is you gotta pay the statement in full at the end of the month. If you are not able to start accumulating those points, but if you are unable to make the payments, to pay, of course, the installments, it's not worth it, guys. You gotta go and reevaluate your situation and try to figure out ways to take care of that first and then start using the points.
Yeah, and just also keep in mind, these cards, generally your travel cards, they're all going to have an annual fee. So quite often the annual fee will come with certain benefits, whether that's lounge access or credits that you can use towards offsetting, I don't know, Dunkin' Donuts or different food venues, things like that. Like
Yeah.
there's ways, but they do cost, right? So there is a cost associated to them. However, a $95 annual fee in order to be able to obtain 60,000 points as a sign-up bonus, I would suggest that that might be worthwhile. And then you can reevaluate moving forward whether you want to keep a card or if you want to downgrade to a no fee or close a card, right? So
Yes.
just keep in mind they do cost.
Yes, yeah. We are now in Colonia, Uruguay. We are at a Wyndham place. And we have a Wyndham credit card, which we got it at the end of last year, right? Was it? Yeah. It is a different treatment no matter what when you say. So by the time that we did check-in and we were early during our check-in and they said, not a problem, I can give you your room. It was like maybe 2 or 3 hours. And by the time that we got to our room, there was champagne, they had chocolate, they had so many things just because you are able to experience something different by holding the credit cards and having another
the status that goes
with
with some of these cards, right?
Right.
So I mean, maybe that's a good little point too. We're here for 6 days. We paid 15,000 points a night for each night. And it's a nice room. It's a huge king room. We have a beautiful view of the sunset and the river out the window. So it's kind of a nice place. And we did pay. These are some points that we actually purchased back in December.
Yeah.
But the cost of the room was like $150 a night. And when you work out the cost of the points that we purchased, it works out to about $51. So
51.
We're paying $51 for a $150 a night hotel room.
Yeah.
So that's kind of off topic of what we were just talking about, but side note. So, I think that was the presentation and it was a lot. So I don't know if you guys have questions and let us know what you want to hear about next because we have a bunch of ideas of what we want to talk about, but maybe there's something that needs some clarification or whatnot. So let us know.
Yes. And if you are maybe considering our membership, becoming a member of our community, there are even ways to make more points. And if you are one of our members, you might have seen the video when we were saying that for every dollar, we were able to get 7 points back. And some of those things we cannot share publicly on YouTube. It's just because they won't allow us to, they would allow us to do this, but the credit cards would not like. So that's why sometimes we have to share this, like in a secure place where our members are able to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Right? Any other questions or comments or anything else that you guys want to ask us?
Let us know.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think we're going to try and do a live at least once a month talking about some of these tips, I guess, or how we're utilizing the points and miles in order to stay for much cheaper around the world or free and fly and stuff like that. So any questions that you do have or things you want to know about, let us know either here or send us an email. We're more than happy to answer the questions.
Yeah. Are there maybe one question that I have for you? What are your plans for credit cards in 2025? That is a great question. Well, my dream, if I was thinking about dream, is we do have a few Chase credit cards. We also have American Express cards, but my dream would actually to wait until I can get an Alaska credit card. We know that Alaska, they are gonna launch a new credit card by mid-year. We are not sure what kind of credit card it is. But it's, of course, it's gonna be travel related. And you know that the Alaska program, there were a few changes on their program, and it's, in our opinion, which is one of the best programs that we have out there. And one good example is the extended layover that we have, and all the partnerships that Alaska has with LATAM, if you want to fly South America, but not even LATAM. There are so many different ones. So it'll be a Alaska credit card. Other than that,
I think we're also waiting until we get back to Canada because there's quite a few opportunities, usually a few times a year, with RBC Avion credit cards to earn Avios points. Those ones are
Yeah.
transferable to
Mhm.
British Airways. And those are the points actually that we use to fly Qatar. So Canadians are quite lucky. We have quite a few options with those particular credit cards and points, and we can re-earn those over and over multiple times.
Mhm.
So I think once we hit Canada, we've got some things we've got to do back home. So we might use those cards to accumulate some of those points
Yeah.
to be able to transfer for future Qatar trips, perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are one of the best ones. I mean, I think that he or she, I'm sorry, I don't know, we're talking about Qatar. We are going to fly for the first time the Q Suites, which is a dream that I had, and I end up dreaming so much that Christine end up deciding to do that as well. So we're going to fly Q Suites on the trip from Istanbul to Bangkok.
Yeah,
right?
because it's more than a flight, right? Some of these business class or potentially, we have never flown first class yet, but some of those flights are on our radar that we really would love to do.
Yeah.
These are experiences all unto themselves. We love to fly. We've talked about it before, and to be able to fly and have these
It's an experience,
luxurious
right?
experiences, and I don't know, it's just nice, right? It's a nice experience to have, moving from one place to another. So not only is the destination the experience, but how we're getting there is also part of the experience. So
Yeah.
what is the best website for hotel deals? Similar to seats.aero.
Yeah, that is a good question. I'm not sure if you know, Carlos, but seats.aero, they also have part of their brand, the rooms.aero. And this is actually when you are able to search for hotels. They have right now, they are able to track Hilton, IHG, Hyatt, and Marriott. My, let's say, Marriott points. Where can I have a good deal? By going and having seats.aero account, you can log into the rooms.aero, which is quite similar, but instead of looking for flights, you're going to look for hotels. And by the way, you don't even need to create, to become a pro member, which is like the annual fee. You can start seeing if this is actually something that you are interested, and you can create a free account. You are not able to search, let's say, for the whole year, and that's why we do have an account with seats.aero. We pay for the membership. It is just because of the flexibility that we have, that we can plan ahead for a year in advance. Right now, we are in March. I'm already planning for the trips that we are going to have in 2026, because by having this account with seats.aero, I can see what is going to be available in terms of flights and hotels for next year.
Yeah. If you're looking for cash stays, your best bet is going to be, if you're looking at the big brands, to book directly with Hyatt, IHG, Marriott, those ones. But if you're booking with, for example, IHG, because I think this is the only one that it works for, Capital One shopping portal, quite often you'll get cash back. So you want to log into your Capital One portal, click on IHG, and then log into your IHG account and make your bookings. If you're looking for off-brand hotels, then you're going to want to look at your Chase portals. Your airline portals also have hotels, but also if you go into Rakuten, you can use Booking.com, Expedia, all of these different things. So there's lots of ways to extend your earnings.
Yeah. Maybe that's something that we should do, like for the next live. It's even talking about the different shopping portals that we have available on our blog. If you go to firego.com, you're going to be able, some of the posts that we have, and one of them we do talk specifically about shopping portals, and this is something that we always take advantage of.
Yeah, they're quite good.
Yeah. La has another question. Not concerned about the 524. No, we are under the 524. But then that's right now, from all the credit cards that we have with Chase, we are good with the ones that we have now. We are just
for anybody
waiting for Alaska.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, Chase, it's mostly Chase. Some of the other banks tend to follow their same pattern, but generally it's Chase. They have a rule where they don't want you to apply you can't have opened 5 credit cards within the previous 24 months. And that's not just Chase cards, that's any credit card. So any hit to your credit report by opening another personal credit card in the previous 24 months goes towards this 524 rule. So if you want to get into the Chase credit card game, generally it's advised that you open your Chase cards first, and then you can move into other credit cards once you've hit your 524, and then it necessarily doesn't affect whether you can open the other cards or not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Something else we can talk about if that's at all confusing.
Yeah.
There is orders which if you want to open multiple cards, there are generally some orders you want to respect with regards to Chase, the 524, and Amex. Yeah. You want to start at the bottom and move your way up, because some of the cards, if you start at the top, then you are not eligible for the sign-up bonus for the cards that fall below it. So if you're interested in that, let us know. We can talk about that.
Yeah, and that's a good example for Christine. I already had some of the American Express business cards in the United States, but Christine, and I think that I've got the platinum and I want to try and get the gold card, and they changed the rules along the way. But on Christine's case, the first credit card that she's got to have with American Express in the United States, the personal card, is going to be the green card. Why? Because she's going to be able to get the sign-up bonus for the green card. The next one is going to be the gold card. The next one is going to be the platinum card. So we cannot have them in order, just to make sure that she is able to receive the sign-up bonus for those cards. Right?
And just as a side note for any Canadians who are on here as well, if you're looking to switch over to US credit cards, Amex is actually the easiest way to switch over into the US credit card game. Amex doesn't require you to have a ITIN number in order to apply for credit cards. They'll actually be able to use your Canadian credit reports in order to approve you for credit cards. Yeah. So let us know if you want to know about that. We can talk about that in the future as well. But just any Canadians here, Amex is going to be the way you want to start.
And that's how we did.
Yeah. Right? All right. Any other questions that we missed?
Yeah, we have been here for over an hour, so we are more than happy to do. I'm having wine, by the way, so I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy to keep answering your questions. But that's what we want. We wanted to empower you guys in saving money as you decided to travel. Maybe you don't have a dream of traveling full time, but if you are able to offset some of those costs for your family in a trip going to anywhere in the world, you are able to offset those costs, knowing how to earn those points and also how to redeem those points with the right strategy.
Yeah, and even if you're sitting there thinking, travel cards aren't for me, maybe they're not, but like we always say, your money needs to be doing something other than just leaving your bank account to pay for whatever it is that you're looking to purchase, right? It needs to be earning something back. And so if you're not interested in points and miles necessarily, there's so many great cashback cards out there where you can be earning money back to pay down your bill and stuff like that as well. So if you're not in the travel points and miles, if that doesn't interest you, at least look at cashback, because you need to be earning something back for all of the money that you're spending.
Yes, and I'm not going to give you another insight. I do have my business in Canada. It's still open, also business in the United States, but I usually was trying to sign up for new credit cards once it's tax time, because I knew that I was going to pay my taxes. And by the way, the taxes in Canada, you guys know how
fun.
That's a good word. How fun they are. We end up paying a lot of taxes, and by paying our taxes and using a credit card, it is usually a sign-up bonus from one of those credit cards, right? So that's how we end up paying our taxes and using credit cards just to get the sign-up bonus. How many points do we have today in total?
I haven't looked, but when we left last year, we had over 2 million. Airline, transferable currency, and hotel points. So have you
How often? It's every 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, every 3 years if you're not filing a tax return in the States. If you're filing a tax return regularly, you don't need to renew it. But if you haven't filed a tax return, then every 3 years you need to renew it.
Yeah.
The
And that's another question. Let me just put, I've been doing points and miles since 2018, not starting. Yeah, it's the same with us, right?
Yeah. I think the thing is, like, I don't know, we seem to draw a lot of correlation between points and miles and our investing journey, right? Had we known what we know now, looking back, we would have been doing things so much sooner. But now that we know, and now that we know how much potential is out there for us to earn the points and miles, we just want everybody else to understand how great it could be. So that's what we just want everybody to start as soon as you can and start accumulating, because they really are quite powerful.
Yeah, and we did not learn everything in 1 year. It's taken us 3 or 4 years. And by the way, those rules, they kind of change over and over, and we keep learning as we go. There are so many things that we don't know yet, which is okay. But from what we need, I mean, we're able, I mean, that's the perfect example to save 93% of our budget by using points and miles.
Yeah.
Right? So,
yeah, we wouldn't be able to travel the way that we're traveling for sure. We'd have to do it. I think we'd just be doing it much slower. Well, not that we're not traveling slow, but just in maybe a different way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So they allow me to be comfortable, which is very important.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other question, comments? Do you guys like this kind of live stream, kind of talking a little bit and bringing some sort of presentation where we can talk about those points and providing links that is going to support you as well? I mean, we are more than happy to keep doing this. We want to say thank you for you guys sticking with us. We know it's already 8 o'clock. It's on a Sunday evening. You got to get ready to the week.
Yeah, but we do appreciate all of your awesome comments every week. We read every single one. We want to try and answer all of your questions, so please let us know whatever you are wondering or would like answered. We're more than happy to do it. So just wanted to say thank you for your support. So
yeah. Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks.
If no other questions, we're gonna let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, and I think next week we're gonna do the plan is to do February budget.
And we're gonna share with you how many points we were able to accumulate.
Oscar night.
Oh, it's Oscar night. Yes,
I didn't wear my dress, guys. Sorry. You got my purple t-shirt again.
That's right. And we're gonna share with you how many points we were able to accumulate.
In the month of February. So
yes.
All right. Well, we won't keep you any longer. Go check out the Oscars or do whatever you need doing. But we're glad you were able to take some time out and join us. And we hope to see you next time we're here.
Yeah. And for those who are not able to attend the live stream, if you do have any questions, use the comments below. We are more than happy to answer those questions.
That's right. Or send us an email.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a great week and we'll see you soon.
Bye. Thank you again. Take care. And I'll see you in our next video.
Até mais.